Brimstone is the first international film by Dutch writer-director Martin Koolhoven, and it's also his first film since Winter in Wartime from 2008. It tells the story of a young woman named Liz who lives with her husband and two children in a small Christian community. Liz is a mute and works as a midwife. One day she fears for her life and that of her family when she meets the new reverend, and from that moment on, things are turning into a nightmare, and slowly but surely, we find out what her connection is to this mysterious man. It took Koolhoven 7 years to get his dream project off the ground, and during that time he had to deal with many issues. At one point, he was on the verge of bankruptcy. He almost lost the rights of his own screenplay, and shortly before production began, two of his actors, Mia Wasikowska and Robert Pattinson, walked out of the project. But they were quickly replaced by Dakota Fanning and Kit Harington. Koolhoven is a big fan of spaghetti westerns, and it's not surprising that he was very much influenced by them when he was writing Brimstone. He was especially influenced by Sergio Leone's cinematic milestone Once Upon a Time in the West, which is his all-time favorite film, mine as well, and Sergio Corbucci's underrated masterpiece The Great Silence, which, like in Brimstone, contains a character who does not speak. It wasn't only the westerns that inspired him to make his own one. He also looked closely at Charles Laughton's The Night of the Hunter, Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear, and even Brian De Palma's Carrie. Brimstone is not for everyone. It's relentless, pessimistic, and very dark. Some people were criticizing it for its violence and brutality. You could say that these people has never seen a spaghetti western before, and I'm not talking about the ones directed by Sergio Leone. I'm talking about the Corbuccis, the Fulcis, the Costaralis, the Solimas, and many others. But on the other hand, it is understandable. There are scenes in this movie that can be disturbing, and it doesn't shy away from using violence against children. Despite the ending being a little disappointing and a few questions being unanswered, Brimstone is an impressive piece of European cinema where the story is divided into 4 chapters, and they are not in chronological order, and I think that's a brilliant choice. If it was in chronological order, it would have been much less effective. The film succeeds on every level. Koolhoven's direction is flawless. His screenplay is very well written. The cinematography by Rogier Stoffers is astonishing. The editing by Job ter Burg, who also worked on Paul Verhoeven's Black Book and Elle, is fantastic, and the music by Tom Holkenborg is simply amazing. Holkenborg, best known as Junkie XL, was also responsible for the soundtracks of Deadpool, Black Mass, and Mad Max Fury Road. And let's not forget about the performances. Once again, Guy Pearce shows that he is one of the finest and most underrated actors working today. His portrayal of the repulsive, frightening, and diabolical Reverend is extraordinary. It was his idea to speak English with a Dutch accent, and it doesn't always sound convincing, but that's just a minor flaw. Dakota Fanning is wonderful, and in a way, her facial expressions reminds me of the unforgettable Renee Falconetti in The Passion of Joan of Arc. Emilia Jones is, to use one of the biblical chapter titles, a revelation. Of all the performances in this film, she's the one who impresses me the most. She is absolutely exceptional, and it wouldn't surprise me if we're going to hear a lot more from her in the future. There are moments where she speaks Dutch, and she does that perfectly. Carice van Houten is great as the doomed wife of the Reverend. Her Game of Thrones co-star Kit Harington is good in a small but important role as an outlaw, and the rest of the cast delivers stellar performances. Brimstone does not only work as a western, it also works as a psychological thriller and even as a slasher movie. Some were complaining that the film was too slow and too long, but that didn't bother me at all. It's the kind of film that grabs you by the throat and won't let you go until the very end. I would certainly recommend this film, but keep in mind, it's not for the faint of heart. I hope you enjoyed this movie review. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.